On to week 4 already, and you will be writing your first major essay this week. It's worth 20% of your grade, so that's worth remembering. Don't forget to look at your weekly assignments review pages, your weekly commentaries. You tackled quite a bit of literature last week, and I tried to do a pretty thorough job of reviewing all of this. I even found a really good image. I had a question about the jagged architecture, and I think the image will explain a lot. Again, dystopia is a society that is as bad as it can get. And if I had to pick Josh Gibbons' brain, who wrote Dystopia, the poem, what comes to my mind is Stalinist Russia. And after you look at this image, I think you might agree that there's a pretty good connection. Let's see, you are writing essay 1. After you do some time, really some careful time, reviewing your weekly commentaries on the literature, you have 2 short stories. You will choose one to work with. And this is all outlined in your essay assignments, essay 1 page. Please, I would say the more you read this assignment page, the better off you will be. Really go through the assignment musts, because the word must is pretty strong, and there's some pretty carefully laid out musts you have to cover. So some attention, some really careful reading of that assignment page will help you. Tutoring is required. You have several options for online tutoring noted in your course, on your sidebar, as well as in your welcome pages. Get a draft of your paper to tutoring. Any tutoring option there is fine, but the sooner you get something to them, the sooner you can get some feedback. Do not procrastinate. This is part of your grade, so you need to get it in and get some feedback. There is a short kind of sample at the bottom of that assignment page. You will be writing on one short story, as indicated at the top of your assignment page. So I did a little work with the poem Dystopia, and kind of broke it down as if this would be a way to approach the assignment. Now, dystopia is not an option, but I think that'll make sense once you review it. It is a literary analysis. It is your writing, incorporating quotes from your work per MLA, and no secondary research. Certainly you can pursue some of those non-academic helps I've mentioned. However, those do not qualify as academic research, and none is required for this paper. Just be careful not to plagiarize. Just a word of warning, a word of caution. I want to talk about basically embedding quotes. Some of you are still kind of struggling with that. All that means is that when you see a quote and you're going to work with it, you want to put it into your paper, you cannot take that quote, that sentence of a quote, and plop it as a sentence in your paper. You have to gracefully, grammatically, and logically set the quote up with words of your own. Now, sometimes that's as simple as Martel wrote, comma, quotation, you've got your quote after. Sometimes you might want to say the narrator informs readers that, quote. Readers learn that, quote. So there's lots of different phrasing you can use to set up a quote, but quotes must be connected to words of your own. And I think after you go through your research pages, you go to your research/MLA and content, then you have 6 different pages on elements of MLA research. And you've got a Dropbox assignment with those research pages. I think that will set you up pretty well for handling MLA for this assignment. After you've gone over all of that and done that little assignment, do it as soon as possible. If you still have questions, if there's still something you're kind of shaky on, please, again, do not hesitate to text or call. You will not be working with a poem. It's a little trickier to embed poetry quotations. I'm gonna try to put up a separate page and give you a little more information on that. I will also be putting up just a page giving you some samples of lead-in phrases that might be helpful for you. But I do want to emphasize that's one of those musts. You've got to get your quotes connected to your words grammatically and logically. It really helps the flow of your paper. Okay, get started. The sooner you start in this paper, the better. Even if it's a hastily put together draft that you send to tutors, I think you'll get some valuable feedback. Now, depending where you decide to send it, you may have student helpers. They are not going to fix anything. That is not their purpose. Basically, it's another set of eyes. And we are our own worst editors. So sometimes it's nice just to have some feedback going, you knew where you were going here, but I need a little more clarification. Also think it's really, really helpful if you will pretend you are writing your paper for someone who has never read your chosen short story. Because I think students tend to maybe underdevelop, thinking, she's already read that story. But your essay should stand on its own merits. And even if someone's never read the short story you're analyzing, they should be able to follow your essay. So you want to give them enough information that they can see where you're going and why. Don't hesitate. Call or text. Let me know if I can help. Have a good week.